Asuo was a village nestled in a green valley. It was a place of warm sunshine and gentle breezes. Tall trees with broad leaves gave shade to the cozy huts. Brightly colored flowers grew everywhere, painting the land with joy. The river, a silver ribbon, flowed nearby, its waters singing a soft song. Life in Asuo was simple, yet full of hidden magic. The air itself seemed to hum with ancient secrets. Children played with laughter that echoed through the trees, their voices adding to the village's natural music. It was a haven of peace, a special place on earth. Jacobam was a boy of Asuo. He was not like the other children entirely. He had a quiet spirit and observant eyes. He saw things others missed. He heard whispers on the wind that no one else seemed to notice. The rustling leaves told him stories. The babbling brook shared its secrets with him. He felt a deep connection to the earth, to the sky, to every living creature. This made him thoughtful and a little solitary, but his heart was kind, and he loved his village deeply, feeling its rhythms as his own. The elders of Asuo noticed Jacobam. They saw the way he listened to the world. They saw the understanding in his young eyes. Old Nana Ya, the wisest woman in the village, would often watch him. She saw him tracing patterns in the dust, patterns that looked like ancient symbols. She heard him humming tunes that sounded old, yet new. She knew there was something special about this boy. Something important was waiting for him. The destiny of Asuo, she felt, might one day rest on his small shoulders, and she prayed he would be ready. Jacobam often wandered to the edge of the great forest. The trees there were older, taller, their branches intertwined like a woven canopy. He felt a strong pull towards the forest depths. It was a place of mystery, a place the other children avoided. But Jacobam was not afraid. He felt a sense of belonging there. He would sit for hours, listening to the symphony of the forest, the chirping insects, the calls of unseen birds, the sigh of the wind through the leaves. It all spoke to him, preparing him for something he did not yet understand. In the heart of Asuo, near the ancient baobab tree, stood a small, forgotten hut. It was weathered by time and covered in creeping vines. Inside this hut, gathering dust, lay the talking drum. It was a magnificent instrument, crafted from dark, polished wood and stretched animal skin. Intricate carvings covered its sides, telling stories of heroes and spirits. But no one played it anymore. Its voice had been silent for many, many years. The villagers walked past the hut, their eyes downcast, a shadow of forgotten memories clinging to the place. The elders warned the children to stay away from the hut. "The drum sleeps a sad sleep," Old Man Kofi would say, his voice low. "It holds the memories of a time that is gone. To disturb it is to disturb the spirits of our ancestors." The children listened, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and curiosity. They knew the drum was important, a relic from a powerful past. But its silence was heavy, a constant reminder of something lost, something precious that the village no longer possessed. The warnings were meant to protect, but for Jacobam, they sparked a deeper intrigue. Jacobam, however, felt an irresistible pull towards the silent drum. It was more than curiosity. It was a whisper in his soul, a gentle tugging that grew stronger each day. He would find himself standing near the hut, his heart beating faster. He could almost hear a faint rhythm, a ghostly echo of the drum's once mighty voice. He imagined the stories it could tell, the songs it could sing. He felt a strange connection to this forgotten instrument, a sense that its silence was a sorrow he shared. He yearned to touch it, to understand its mystery. One afternoon, when the village was quiet and the sun hung low in the sky, Jacobam gathered his courage. He pushed aside the creaking, vine-covered door of the hut. Dust motes danced in the dim light that filtered through the cracks. And there it was, the talking drum. It was even more beautiful up close. He reached out a trembling hand and touched its smooth, cool skin. A faint vibration shivered through his fingertips, a spark of ancient energy. It felt like the drum was acknowledging him, waiting for him. In that moment, he knew his life was about to change. Asuo was once a vibrant village, its heart beating in time with the talking drum. The drum's rhythms brought rain for the crops. Its songs healed the sick and guided the lost. It connected the people to their ancestors and to the spirits of the land. But as the years passed, the knowledge of the drum's true power began to fade. The skilled drumkeepers grew old and passed away, their secrets lost with them. The songs became whispers, then echoes, and finally, silence. The village's spirit slowly dimmed, like a fire starved of wood. Without the drum's guidance, Asuonkwa began to struggle. The harvests were not as plentiful. Sickness lingered longer. The sense of unity among the villagers frayed. The vibrant colors of their traditions seemed to lose their brightness. The stories of the drum's power became legends, tales told to children with a wistful sigh. The elders remembered a time of joy and strength, a time when the drum spoke and the village thrived. They looked at the silent hut with a deep sadness, a longing for what had been lost to the mist of time. Jacobam saw the sadness in the eyes of his people. He felt the quiet despair that hung over Asuonkwa. He noticed the way the laughter of the children was not as bright as it once was. He saw the worried frowns on the faces of the farmers as they looked at their struggling crops. This growing unease in his home pained him deeply. He knew with a certainty that came from his special connection to the world that the silence of the drum was at the heart of their troubles. The village had lost its song, its guiding rhythm. The elders often spoke of a prophecy. They said that one day, a child of Asuonkwa, one with a heart open to the whispers of the ancestors, would awaken the drum. This child would be the new drum keeper. They would embark on a great quest to restore the lost songs and bring life back to the village. Jacobam listened to these stories, his heart pounding. He wondered if he could be that child. The thought was both exciting and terrifying. He felt the weight of their fading hope, and a small seed of determination began to grow within him. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in hues of purple and orange, Jacobam felt the familiar pull towards the forest. This time, it was stronger than ever before, urgent and compelling. He walked deeper than he ever had, past the ancient trees he knew, into a part of the forest that felt sacred and untouched. A clearing opened before him, bathed in a soft, ethereal glow. And there, in the center of the clearing, stood a magnificent creature. It had the powerful body of a lion, but its eyes burned with an ancient wisdom, and its mane seemed to shimmer with starlight. Jacobam froze, his breath caught in his throat. Fear, cold and sharp, pricked at his skin. This was no ordinary lion. This was a spirit, powerful and majestic. He wanted to run, to flee back to the safety of his village, but his feet felt rooted to the ground. The lion-headed spirit turned its gaze upon him. Its eyes were not fierce, but incredibly knowing, as if they could see right into his soul. A deep rumble emanated from its chest, a sound that was not a growl, but a profound, resonant hum that vibrated through the very air around them. Then the spirit spoke. Its voice was not in words that Jacobam heard with his ears, but a clear, powerful message that bloomed directly in his mind. "Child of Asuonkwa," the voice resonated. "The time has come. The silence has lasted too long." Jacobam, though still trembling, found a strange sense of calm washing over him. He understood. This was why he had always felt different. This was what the whispers and the pull had been leading him towards. He knew, without being told, that this spirit was a guardian of his people's heritage. "You are the last of the drum keepers," the spirit revealed. "The talking drum chose you when you touched it. Its heart beats faintly, waiting for its true voice to be restored." The spirit explained that Asuonkwa's fading life was tied to the drum's silence. To save his village, Jacobam had to find the 3 lost songs: the fire dancer, the river's memory, and the keeper of night. These songs held the power to reawaken the drum and the land. This was his quest, his destiny. Jacobam, small but resolute, nodded. He would not fail. The lion spirit guided Jacobam on how to begin his quest. The first song, the fire dancer, was hidden in the heart of the burning peaks, a range of volcanic mountains far to the east. Jacobam, with a small satchel of food and the blessings of a tearful Nana Ya, set off. The journey was long and arduous. The sun beat down mercilessly during the day and the nights were cold. He crossed barren plains and climbed rocky hills. Doubts sometimes whispered in his mind, but the memory of the lion spirit's eyes and the thought of his village spurred him onward. After many days, he reached the foothills of the burning peaks. The air grew hot and thick with the smell of sulfur. Smoke plumed from the distant volcanic cones, painting the sky a hazy orange. He saw no life here, only scorched earth and jagged rocks. This was a harsh, unforgiving land. He climbed higher, his small feet navigating the treacherous paths. He felt a growing respect for the raw power of the earth, a power that could both create and destroy. This was the domain of fire, untamed and wild. Deep within a caldera, where molten rock glowed in fissures, he found the fire spirit. It was not a creature of flesh and blood, but a swirling vortex of flame, beautiful and terrifying. Its heat was intense, and its voice crackled like a roaring inferno. "Why have you come to my domain, little one?" the fire spirit boomed. Jacobam, shielding his face from the heat, spoke of his quest, his voice steady despite his fear. He spoke of the talking drum and the fading life of Asuankwa. He asked for the song of the fire dancer. The fire spirit tested Jacobam's courage and respect. It demanded he walk close to its fiery form, to show he did not fear its power, but understood its essence. Jacobam, remembering his village, took a deep breath and stepped forward. He felt the searing heat but did not flinch. He spoke of how fire brought warmth, light, and cleared the way for new growth. The spirit, sensing his sincerity and reverence, softened its fiery dance. Slowly, a rhythm emerged from the crackling flames, a powerful, energetic beat. This was the fire dancer. Jacobam listened, his heart pounding, memorizing every pulse, every surge of its vibrant energy. With the fire dancer's song burning brightly in his memory, Jacobam journeyed towards the great river, where the second song, River's Memory, was said to reside. This journey took him through lush, humid jungles and across wide, sweeping savannas. He followed the course of smaller streams, knowing they would eventually lead him to their mighty parent. The air grew moist, and the sounds of unseen creatures filled the dense foliage. He learned to read the signs of the land, to find food and fresh water, growing stronger and more confident with each passing day. Finally, he reached the banks of the great river. It was immense, a vast expanse of flowing water that stretched as far as his eyes could see. Its surface shimmered under the sun, and its current moved with a slow, irresistible power. This was a place of constant movement, of life that ebbed and flowed with the water's rhythm. He sat by the riverbank for a long time, just watching, listening. He felt the ancient wisdom of the water, its ability to carve through stone, to nurture life, and to carry memories from the mountains to the sea. As dusk settled, a gentle mist rose from the water. From this mist, a luminous figure emerged. It was the water spirit, fluid and graceful, its form shimmering like moonlight on the river's surface. Its voice was like the gentle lapping of waves, soft yet persistent. "You seek the river's memory, child of the drum," the spirit murmured, its eyes kind and deep. Jacobam bowed his head respectfully. He explained his quest, his voice filled with the hope of his people and the urgency of his mission to heal his village. The water spirit did not test his courage with fire, but his empathy and his ability to listen. It asked him to sit by the river and truly hear its many voices. The gurgle of the current, the whisper of the reeds, the splash of a jumping fish, the distant call of a water bird. Jacobam closed his eyes and listened with his whole being. He felt the river's journey, its joys, its sorrows, the memories it carried within its depths. Slowly, a melody began to form in his mind, a flowing, lyrical tune that spoke of connection, continuity, and the enduring power of life. This was River's memory. He absorbed it, letting its calm strength fill him. The final song, Keeper of Night, was the most elusive. The lion spirit had told Jacobam it could be found where the sky touched the earth, on the highest peak of the silent mountains. This journey was the most challenging yet. He climbed steep, treacherous paths, the air growing thin and cold. He pushed through swirling mists that hid the way, and battled winds that threatened to push him from narrow ledges. He was weary, but the two songs he already carried in his heart gave him strength, their rhythms a source of inner power. After many days of relentless climbing, he reached the summit of the highest mountain. He was above the clouds, and the world stretched out below him like a vast, patterned carpet. As night fell, the sky transformed. It became a dark, velvet canvas, sprinkled with countless glittering stars. The silence here was profound, a deep, resonant stillness that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. Jacobam felt very small, yet strangely connected to everything. He understood why this was the place to find the Keeper of Night. He waited patiently through the cold, silent hours. He watched the stars wheel overhead, a slow, majestic dance. He felt the immensity of the cosmos, the endless cycles of time. Just as the first hint of dawn touched the eastern horizon, a figure began to coalesce from the starlight and shadows. It was the spirit of night and sky, vast and serene. Its form was not solid, but made of shifting darkness and twinkling lights, like a piece of the night sky itself. Its voice was a whisper, like the rustling of cosmic dust. The spirit of night tested Jacobam's introspection and patience. It did not speak for a long time, simply observing him. Jacobam sat quietly, his mind calm, his heart open. He reflected on his journey, on the spirits he had met, on the lessons he had learned. He thought of his village, of the hope he carried. Then, the spirit began to hum, a low, resonant frequency that seemed to vibrate with the stars themselves. It was a song of mystery, of dreams, of the quiet wisdom found in darkness and rest. This was the Keeper of Night. Jacobam listened, his soul filled with a deep peace, committing the celestial melody to his memory. With the 3 lost songs now held safely in his heart and mind, Jacobam began his journey home. The return trip seemed quicker, perhaps because his steps were lighter, filled with purpose and the power of the ancient melodies. He was no longer just a boy. He was a carrier of hope, a bridge between the past and the future of Asuankwa. As he neared his village, he could already sense the heavy stillness that had plagued it, but now he carried the means to break that silence. He walked into Asuankwa, and the villagers gathered, their faces etched with worry and a flicker of hesitant hope. They saw a change in him. He was still their Jacobam, but he stood taller, his eyes held a new depth, a quiet confidence. Nana Ya rushed forward, her eyes filled with tears of relief and pride. "You have returned, my child," she whispered, her hand on his shoulder. Jacobam smiled, a smile that promised renewal. He walked directly to the dusty, forgotten hut that housed the talking drum. He entered the hut, the villagers watching from a respectful distance. He carefully cleaned the drum, his touch gentle and reverent. He tightened its skins, his movements sure, as if guided by generations of drumkeepers before him. Then, he lifted the drum. He carried it out into the sunlight, into the center of the village, near the ancient baobab tree. A hush fell over Asuankwa. All eyes were on Jacobam and the drum that had been silent for so long. The air was thick with anticipation, with the weight of generations of longing. Then Jacobam began to play. He started with the fire dancer. The rhythm was powerful, energetic, full of life. It was like a spark igniting dry tinder. Then he moved into River's memory, its melody flowing like cool water, soothing and connecting. Finally, he played the Keeper of Night, its deep, resonant tones speaking of peace and ancient wisdom. As the 3 songs wove together, something magical happened. The drum's voice was no longer faint, but rich and full, echoing through the valley. It was a sound of awakening, a sound of vibrant life returning. As the final notes of the Keeper of Night faded, a profound change swept over Asuankwa. It was as if the land itself had been holding its breath and could finally exhale. Colors seemed to brighten. The air grew fresher, sweeter. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves and it sounded like joyful applause. The river's song seemed clearer, more vibrant. Smiles, genuine and wide, bloomed on the faces of the villagers. Laughter, true and unrestrained, began to bubble up, chasing away the shadows of despair that had lingered for so long. The elders wept openly, tears of joy streaming down their wrinkled cheeks. They saw the spirits of their ancestors smiling. The children who had only heard stories of the drum's power now felt it. They began to dance, their small feet moving to the lingering rhythms, their hearts light. The farmers felt a new strength in their limbs, a renewed hope for their crops. The sick felt a soothing warmth spread through them. The talking drum, alive once more, was mending the broken threads of their community, weaving them back together with its powerful music. Jacobam stood by the drum, his small chest heaving slightly from the effort, but his eyes shone with a brilliant light. He was no longer just Jacobam, the quiet boy who heard whispers. He was Jacobam, the drumkeeper of Asuankwa, the one who had journeyed into the unknown and returned with the lost songs. He had faced spirits, overcome challenges, and found the courage within himself to fulfill his destiny. He had brought life back to his people, and in doing so, he had found his true self. From that day forward, Asuotunkwa thrived. The drum's voice was heard regularly, guiding, celebrating, and connecting the village to its roots and its future. Jacobam, with wisdom beyond his years, taught others the rhythms, ensuring the songs would never be lost again. He became a leader, a guardian, the drumkeeper of the new dawn. His journey had not only saved his village, but had also shown everyone that even the smallest person, with courage and an open heart, can awaken the greatest magic. The future of Asuotunkwa was bright, its rhythm strong, its song clear.